I know that we're in a time where Black people globally are building communities, mobilizing different groups, are coming together with the same idea to rebuild the Black race, Black culture, the Black economics, the Black neighborhoods, right? And I love it. One of the things that I will say, and I'll share more on this channel, um, is I saw a lot of this as I um, have gone to live for a short time in East Africa, spent some time over there for about 3.5 years. And while I was there, I realized that there's a lot of community building and it's beautiful to see the diaspora of this land that has been scattered in so many different ways and so many different places come back with brilliance and intelligence and desire to rebuild and make better, not just for themselves but for the local communities that they belong to Africa as a whole. I mean, to the measure of our oppression, yeah, to the measure of our intention, right? We need that. What I didn't see was a lot of communal healing work. I did not see a lot of, because I always say our issues are as communal as our healing, right? I used to say it more jazzier than that. Like I can't remember how I used to say it, but our issues in our tissues, right, are more communal, more connected, more interconnected as much as our healing is. And so we don't just get to stay in isolated places to heal. We don't just get to stay in isolated places to um, revive ourselves and be restored, right? There's levels to it. There's definitely levels to it. And I just want to hit on that last point and then I'm out of here looking like this on camera. I was detangling my hair again. If you didn't see the first video, that's what's going on. And then I had downloads, so I had to stop and come back and share. All right. So, um, the final thought is this: is that there's levels to the emergency response that we have been experiencing and that I have not seen in a lot of this community building, right? A lot of this community building, even for myself at one point, it really just got back to levels of survival mode, right? Because it still somehow just all became about numbers. Um, a lot of times, you have a desire to do something, but you're struggling yourself. And so you need this to happen over here so that you can stand. And the whole time, you've got your own traumas and triggers coming out into the community you're trying to build. Like what? Like way to do that? Like we can't do that, y'all. Y'all, I was detangling my hair. This looks crazy to me right now. Let me take this out a little, maybe a little curl or something. Lord, I just saw that angle and I was like, what? So, um, one of the things that my intention is to do here is to also go through the tier levels of the healing that we need as single Black mothers. Okay, so for example, let's talk about, I always give this example about um, if you were to, God forbid, God forbid, if you were to have some type of an accident, right? Let's say on the street, on the road to where paramedics have to come and meet you. Okay, that's one level of response. That's one level of emergency response. So we're talking emergency equaling crisis state, right? Crisis. And you're having an intense moment, right? Now, there's remember that assessment that I talked about, the oh my gosh, who are they called? Y'all listen, I have no shame in my game to let y'all know that as I experience this perimenopausal transition into menopause, my brain fog is so real. And I can't believe that I took this long to start a YouTube channel. I waited until my brain is like, but EMT, that's what it is, EMT. Okay, so the emergency first responders come in, right? And they assess you. They bring you into the emergency room. Now you have another level of assessment, right? Where they're also asking you questions. How do you feel? What hurts? Did this, what happened? This and that, and this and that. Okay. Now they come together now, an emergency level, and they assess you more and realize, okay, we've got to upscale. We've got to, not upscale, not elevate. Lord, I know my words, y'all. I am so smart. We've got to shoot, escalate, elevate, escalate this to the next level. Okay. And the next level is we're gonna put you in a room. Okay. Now you have a different set of assessment. At every level, you have assessments, what I want to say. So I'm looking also inviting in this community of single Black mothers for those of you who professionally know how to assess. Bring your skills. Let's go. Because we have to assess ourselves at every level of these things as we process our different emergencies, our different times of difficulty, right? And what that looks like. Hope this is making sense. If this is making sense, uh, drop a no, because that's Instagram. Wait, is that YouTube? YouTube. Put a comment in the comment, right? Say something. Let me know I'm not by myself. All right. So now you're up and they say, wait, 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 wait. Now we got to know. You know what? Bypass all of that intensive care. ICU. We got to put them in ICU. Oh my goodness. We got some vital things shutting down now. Wait a minute. Because when the vital things shut down, oh no. That takes such a focal level of care where I have experienced as a single Black mother. You are sometimes can be in intensive care, but you're still going to work. You're still showing up. Like you're still having to make meals and still having to cook and drop off and do this and volunteer. Like it's intensive care, but you're still moving? No. So in this community, you have permission to say, hey, I see you. I see you. Intensive care. If I did the edits, that would be so dope right here. I see you. Intensive care unit. Because in my experience with the cyclical crisis happening, is it's the only space where people seem to give you grace for not showing up to their events or having to say yes one day and then I got to turn around and say no, I'm sorry, I actually can't make it. I'm like, right? I was, but I can't now. um, and all types of things, right? That can pull anybody away from if there's an emergency. So, and even work. How many times have you experienced a crisis abruptly and it has cost you a job? It has cost you or your performance on the job, or it has cost you your vehicle, or it cost you your home. It has cost you some vital, I mean, there's some vital things that need attention, right? And so in this community is intensive care. Let's look at the vitality of us. Let us say you have permission in this space to not show up. Because in order to show up in this space, sometimes you might not have to show up in another space. What I mean by that is, like Lauren Hill say, two things can't occupy the same space at the same time. It's against the laws of physics. So weep as your sweet dreams break up like rhythmic rap rejects my tape jack ejects your. That's Lauren Hill. I'm going too far, right? Let me bring it back. But in all jokes aside, is that there are just times in life when you're in intensive care, you cannot be at all the places, mentally, physically, all the leads, especially, especially to my 40 plus. Actually, I'm going to say 35 plus, because in hindsight, looking back now in my mid 40s, a lot of this perimenopausal stuff started then. Okay, started then. Some of your decision making, your capacity, your coping skills, your defense mechanisms, a lot of that is shaped by our biological events, y'all, and by the external stressors that we have to contend with, environment, politics, all the things, right? So give yourself grace. because I'm going to give you grace because I'm taking grace for myself. There are just some spaces where you are totally seen and you're totally understood and you're totally relevant, right? And so I'm inviting you, single Black mother, to this movement, your oil, okay? Preserving your oil, the thing that's inside of you to allow life to flow and to flow abundantly. And that's it. All right. So look forward because I'm going to come with some videos, y'all. Now, some of them might look more like this, okay? Um, but as we grow, the channel will grow, the aesthetics will grow, and all of that. But the most important thing is I just needed to show up. And I hope that you do too. So please, to join, subscribe so that you can see and get the notifications whenever I drop. Because eventually we're going to meet in some private spaces that you don't have to pay for. Maybe some Zooms, some meetups. If you're in the area that I'm in, we can do some meetups in person. That's where I'm at with this. Okay. I'm not going to reel you in and then in 5 minutes say, now pay $4.99 a month, pay $7.99 a month. No, no, no. I am doing the work. I am doing the work to fund my time to be able to focus on this on the side of this. So, yeah, that link for anybody else who's watching is also going to be in the description. Please go ahead on that GoFundMe because that's going to support this movement and also for my pilot. The pilot got approved, y'all. The pilot got approved. Let me tell you about the pilot.